Invictus have everything going for them right now. It's just on to that execution. We've seen the inconsistency be the biggest enemy of Invictus. We've talked a lot about how Elevate were nervous going into this game, but Invictus are also victims of their own emotions. It tends to be that every now and then a player just isn't on the same page as everyone else on this team. I mean, I was chatting to Luna a little bit, and he said the exact thing. He said the sad truth is our form changes week to week, and they can't really put their finger on why. It just seems like different people shut down at different times. They need everyone on the ball with comms and decision making to make the way that Invictus wants to play, which is that more structured playstyle, to make that work.
I think that's the key, is like, of course, Speakeasy has had an absolute stellar stage. Like, he really has. But the games where I feel like Invictus Gaming have looked like dangerous, serious contenders is when things really just mesh a lot better for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember the thing that Luna tweeted actually after they 7-1'd Q-Confirm in that game where Speakeasy, well, I can't remember his final scoreline, it was like 17-1 or something. It was like ridiculous. Like, he's just insane. The thing that Luna tweeted was like, wow, Speakeasy's really good, but believe it or not, like, we actually felt like we played that well as a team. It wasn't just Speakeasy killing everyone.
Yep.
And you know, that resonated with me. We are seeing a hint of this more structured playstyle that Invictus have been wanting to lean in towards. They said that since picking up Joe, they've tried to change their playstyle a little bit, lean into that structure a little bit more like teams like Knights or Fnatic might do. And we're seeing that here. You know, this is very much a sweaty strat. We like to see it. You know, if you rock up to rank, you see like a castle and a mirror, and on the other team, you're like, oh god, what have they got for us here?
Paired with an Aruni and a Mute as well, that's a really painful defensive setup to have to deal with. It's really not going to be that easy as the attack is, but wait and see what Elevate do have in store for us. Now, the only thing of, I would say, notes to really point out on the Elevate side is the actual presence of Gridlock. The Operator we don't see a massive amount of anymore. I think Cafe is certainly one of those maps that we do see a little bit of Gridlock, but yeah, I'm really curious to see exactly how Elevate utilize this.
Expected a bit of clog up those stairs, red stairs. Ooh, Jordan might find a C4 here, and he does! Opening pick of the game, Onigiri goes down. It's a big pick for IG, and already that's the diffuser down on the red stairs as well.
Yeah, really, really good opening pick there for that C4, and losing the ace, it's going to be huge because they're not going to be able to get some of those line of sights with the breaches. Ooh. They're going to have to use the Maverick, but 2 quick trades. That's certainly going to make it a bit easier. Now, Luna is still down below here. Could have a bit of an impact if Elevate aren't careful enough to find out this info.
Cheeky positioning from the Elevate players. Still this roamer downstairs from Invictus. Starting to really put that pressure on, though, is Elevate really pincing onto this train room where that last roamer is. Luna goes down. Really nice trade, though. It's Speakeasy, always ready to pounce. It comes to life with that 416 carbine. Evens up the numbers, 2-on-2 now. Great drop through the hatch from him. Sapper, though, is still hunting. This duel could well dictate the round. Sapper wins it. Now to finish off, it's all Joe, the newest member of Invictus.
Doesn't have to push down here. It looked like he wanted to get aggressive, decided against it. Now this is going to be really big. Depends where the info Elevate still have is hiding. Joe has gone to a pretty advantageous position in the bar back store. Now less than 30 seconds to go. This is crucial for Elevate to continue to be thorough to close this one out.
It's on Elevate. That's a nice flashbang, but Joe dodges it. He has info. Needs to take these as ones, but doesn't land that headshot. Does that time, and now in the one-on-one, Sapper has had a big round, and the Skeleton Key unlocks the victory and takes down Joe. What a close contestation already, Raven. This is going to be a game.
Yeah, that was a good round. I really enjoyed that. That was very tough fought, back and forth. And if it stays like this, oof, it's going to be a banger. Maybe we'll get to see the OT today. I'm not sure, but really good start from both teams. Honestly, that round really could have gone either way. I guess you would say Elevate probably had the upper hand. I mean, they did, right? 2v1, but Joe played that fantastically.
Yeah, Sapper had a big round as well. Like we talked about Speakeasy dropping down that hatch. But Sapper really had those... I feel like every single moment where the switch kind of flipped and Elevate regained that advantage, it was because of Sapper, right? Like you think about him playing in reading and finding that refrag on the Joe. You think about obviously at the end there winning that 1v1. Like very, very impressive stuff from him, really pivotal. Now Invictus aren't going to dwell too much on the loss of that bar defense, even though I feel like it wasn't really anything to do with like the setup that lost them that. They are going to switch it over and go reading.
Yeah, may as well switch it up. Again, Cafe is one of the maps that benefits from kind of just being able to rotate through sites pretty well. So may as well switch it up. But I like the persistence of the mirror. You know, I think mirror definitely has a pretty high degree of effect on Cafe. It does create just an extra layer of something to deal with or even be worried about. You know, you can decide to ignore it, but it's always going to have that presence and assistance to the defense.
I'm actually thinking a bit about Onigiri himself right now. I mean, Spawn peaked in the first round. He'd already said that he was nervous. And he is one of the big players that Elevate, I won't say relies on, but definitely utilizes, especially with the playstyle that we know from them. If he's not firing on all cylinders, I would be concerned.
Definitely would be. Oh, they've just tried to... Looks like they're going for this piano control across, but now aware of this mirror position and the roamer hanging down here in train. Now it is Jordan on the mute. Could flush that early or still go for that vertical control. They will have to be careful of Speakeasy, of course, on the pulse. Getting that info and giving the info, because they have 4 C4s on the defense. That is a lot to have to deal with if you're aiming for that vertical control.
Super Shorty doing some good work. Speakeasy getting some good info with the cardiac sensor as well. Now Joe will know there's one in his window. He takes an ambitious angle and loses it to the F90. Oh, hello! Oh. Speakeasy! Be careful! Holding that cardiac sensor out. Elevate have a significant advantage now. Lunar is in a shocking position and about to lose his life. The Super Shorty and the lifeline to lock it in. My God, Elevate! What is this we are watching from the Stage 1 champions? They are not nervous. They are monstering Invictus.
Yeah, this is turned on its head pretty quick. I mean, that first round felt pretty even, but wow, that one was incredibly one-sided. Just so good from Elevate on the clear. Just at least 3 of those engagements, it was just constantly Invictus Gaming players caught off guard. Absolutely incredible. And this could get deadly very quick if Elevate continue this up. It really could.
Yeah, wow, definitely not what I was expecting going into this game, Raven. Like, I think the way I look at this, right, is Elevate have proven to be the better team in the past, right? And I think that for that reason, like, they are overall, like, favored. You know, if we were to call one team the underdogs, it would probably be Invictus. But that said, because of Invictus's result just in the previous play day against Elevate beating them, that suddenly makes us think, oh, maybe Invictus can do it now when it matters even more for Elevate, at least. And on top of everything else, like the fact that it's Cafe, where Invictus have beaten teams like Q-Confirm 7-1, like TSM at SI. Were we giving Invictus too much credit?
I don't know. I mean, Invictus is just a hard one to read in general. You already mentioned, you know, some of the comments that Lunar Metal made to you about their form, and I just think they're so hard to read at the moment. We tried all stage 2. At times they looked flat, at times they looked incredible. It's just always hard to read where they're at in this progression. At the moment, I mean, it looks like they're struggling a little bit against Elevate. At least based on that last round, we certainly haven't had enough. But from what we caught of the game against Fnatic, which granted wasn't much, they looked pretty good. So, I don't know, again, just cursed by some inconsistency this year, really, for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the wildcard situation. Like, we have such high expectations at the peak of this team, but it's just like, when is this going to happen? When are we finally going to see them? And every time we see a flash of it, it's literally the same for wildcard, right? Like, we see big victories from wildcard, and then we see them do terribly. It's just like Invictus. We see them have amazing showings, and then we get disappointed once again the next day.
So true. But hey, look, still a lot of siege in this map. Maybe they can turn this one around. But at the moment, a pretty hefty mountain in front of them in Elevate. So they are going to have to try and cope with this. Now, this looks like they're about to start to clear out this position of Jordan. The concussion comes out. Big C4 doesn't hit the mark. In fact, barely hits Yanagiri at all. And on the swing, it's still Jordan that comes out the victor.
Great job with the shotgun there. Elevate sent through the util, but not the follow-up. As a result, Jordan was given a chance there. The track sting is deploying. Don't know exactly where, but that will start to gridlock up some of these areas. It looks like Elevate have decided to ignore Jordan as I say that. Apparently not, because Napew's now been taken down. That's 2 dead bodies at the top of red stairs. Jordan is responsible for... Elevate really need to figure something else out, because this is not what we were hoping from them.
Not in this round, but good from IG to really regather what had happened in the previous round and bring it back. Hysterics wants a little more, but Sapper, he is just on the prowl, and this is where it gets a bit tricky. Less than 45 seconds to go. Elevate, they're down 2 men. They can't find a quick response here before execute. It's going to get a bit hectic. And Hysterics with a tight angle here on this gunfight.
Doesn't get the kill yet, though. Sapper worried about the crossfire he'll be walking into should he try and take this fight. Does have a stun, though, he could try and use. He goes for the peek. Hysteric gets him back. 4v2 now. BG Man has been sitting outside this window for the whole round. They know where he is thanks to that audio cue. Hysterics jumps straight out. I mean, see you later, mate. But might not matter with no time left on the clock. DCH might have found a kill, but gonna have to do a whole lot more than that. Less than 10 seconds to go, and the last 2 swinging inside will be met with Invictus players ready and waiting. That is their first round, and a little bit of confidence restored.
Yeah, quite a good round from them too, honestly. I really liked that from Invictus Gaming International, and it was much needed. I think if anything, just for their confidence, to really get them in the game, it always helps to get that first round on the scoreboard. You know, when you're still looking at your score as the donut, it's just got this little unspoken pressure. Can we get 1 round on the board and then just work on from there? Now that they've got that, they're going to go back to reading Fireplace. Now, that was the one that we saw go very heavily in Elevate's favor in round 2. So hopefully IG have something up their sleeve.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
I tend to really be expecting more on the defense than on the attack on Cafe. I mean, Cafe is, funnily enough, tied with Chalet, the least played map in APAC South. Was a 44% defensive win rate, but I don't think you can count that because we had Invictus versus Q-Confirm, where Invictus like just destroyed Q-Confirm on the attack. So I feel like those stats are biased. Like APAC North, it's 53%, so again, not very defensive-sided. But I don't know if you would agree with me. I feel like Invictus should be aiming for a 4-2 here. 3-3 is probably okay. But a 4-2 is really what they'd be looking for. And to already be on the back foot, starting on their defense, I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think 4-2 is really the pass mark for your defense half on Cafe. Kind of always has been. But yeah, they've really set themselves a bit of a tough spot to come back from. It would mean, you know, 4 rounds in a row. But look, wouldn't put it past them. I think they can do it. Yeah, I mean, they're up against a tough opponent. It's not going to be easy.
See if reading Fireplace can be any better for Invictus on the second attempt, just as Bar Cocktail was. This was just a bloodbath, this one. So many players taken out with no response. Almost a flawless one from Elevate on their previous attempt. Unlikely Invictus will give them those fights, though. Unlikely Invictus will be caught with their pants down in reading, with the cardiac sensor out, like we saw happen to Speakeasy last time.
Yeah, good signs in the first minute at least. Elevate haven't ran over the top of IGs. That previous round looked solid, but oh, that is a great shot from Jordan onto Onigiri. That is a really important opening pick.
Actually, the third opening pick Jordan's found so far. He's going to jump out, almost gets another one. DCH barely wins that fight. Is worried about a run out as well from Bakery. So many different places that Elevate are wary of. I don't think Invictus is even going for that, so they're just being hyper cautious. But at least they did trade back that pick. But once again, it is a hard breacher who goes down. Fortunately, there's BG Man with the Mav, but realistically, how much of his hard breach are you going to use?
Oh. Definitely true. Oh, yeah, this is big. BG Man's just going to go in, but he doesn't even win the first gunfight to Speakeasy. With the UMP comes out on top. Invictus Gaming doing a much better job standing up to the aggression of Elevate right here, and it's found to Elevate now in this 3v4 man disadvantage.
A lot of potential for BG Man, but Speakeasy is not going to be caught off guard for a second time. Napew keen to push down the 90 hallway. Hysteric's really feeling this pressure now, concussed out. C4 takes DCH even lower. I love that use of the track stingers as Hysteric's somewhat distracted, but Speakeasy does finish off DCH. Hysteric's great read starts to push on through, but Sapper takes him down. 2-on-3 now. Sapper once again comes to life. 6-1 on the scoreboard. Luna and Joe now to retake. 20 seconds left on the clock. Joe making his way down White Stairs. They should know where he is. Luna as well. His position should be revealed. Sapper should have this. And now Napew, they haven't even been planting this whole time. Can Joe deny it? Sapper has been on fire. He has to lock in this kill. But Napew gets that diffuser down. Joe clutches it. Walking over the track stingers and the pistol to take down Napew. The 1 versus 2 ties up the scoreline.
Wow, that was a bit of a swing kind of round all over the place. Felt like IG had it, and then Elevate just did a really great job getting themselves in that position, even get the plant down. But Joe playing the clutch perfectly. Really good job, and again, importantly, Invictus getting another round on the board kind of keeps them in touch with what we're considering their par mark, Dev, being a 4-2 half. And generally, of course, they really want to get out of the trap of a 3-3 half on their defense on Cafe. Like, they really need to get a good advantage going in that second half to give themselves a great opportunity to close this out.
Absolutely. Now, while I take a bit of a breath from this is what is shaping up to be quite an exciting game, let's turn our attention for a moment to a game that has happened off stream. The other upper bracket match has already ended, Raven. Damwon Kia taking quite a significant victory over Q Confirm.
Yeah, really solid effort. We saw Q Confirm, really come back into some form a little bit earlier today, but Damwon Kia just proving that they are a bit of a force at the moment in APAC. Certainly not unexpected to see them make the run that they're having right now. As I was saying earlier when we kind of talked about it, Dev, I really hope we get to talk about Damwon a little bit more in a match later. But
I can't believe we haven't actually casted them yet.
I know. They're incredible. Certainly one of my favorite teams in APAC at the moment, I have to say.
100%. Very exciting storyline for them. They came up through relegations. Promo relegations. Pretty exciting. But looking back on this game, Elevate and Invictus, one of these teams will be facing Damwon Kia in their next match, and that match will be for a spot at the Mexico Major.
Huge. And as we've said, Elevate, they had it on a, I wouldn't say on a silver platter, but they had it there for the taking. All they had to do was beat IG, even by overtime, in the last playday in APAC South, and they couldn't. IG took that away from them. So again, losing to IG here would really hinder Elevate's opportunity to get another chance at that major spot. So this is it's a really big matchup right now, and Elevate, certainly to a degree, I guess, trying to get a bit of revenge from Playday 7.
Got to get the monkey off the back first. Onigiri finally gets a kill and is not the opening death. Perhaps the confidence booster that he needed. As he flexes onto that, Sophia ditches the hard breach, says, Napew, can you please take that away from me? Need to go frag. Hysteric's going to make a play here. Oh my god, this could be huge if it doesn't go unpunished! Hysterics! What is this man doing on Bakery? He cooks up a storm and takes down Onigiri and BG Man both. It might not matter if Elevate just stormed through, but Joe, you blink and you miss it. He's in a 1v2, half the round in. And these teams are putting on a show. It is a massacre. Elevate don't a single man after that Hysterics flank. And they take the lead once again.
It could have been so big from Hysterics if he managed to get all three. Like, really would have changed the tide of that round.
Was it already so big like that?
I mean, it was. But at the end of the day, like, the rest of his teammates crumbled and Joe ended up in that 3v1 situation. Let's turn the tables. Let's say he did get all three. I guess worst case scenario, they still would have ended in a 2v2 scenario to close the round out, which is obviously much more winnable. Yeah, look, it was definitely big, but it's just unfortunate that Elevate had enough pressure elsewhere that the rest of the defense kind of crumbled as it was, did leave it on Joe's shoulders. Can't clutch them all, but yeah, Elevate, they jump out to this lead now. It's 3-2 for the half. Last round here for Invictus to try and at least tie it up and not let Elevate take that 4-2 advantage.
Back-to-bar cocktail as well. Now, this was lost on the first attempt from Invictus. One on the second, and one thing that has been a constant throughout both of those rounds is Jordan. And Jordan having such a big impact holding on to Cocktail. If I'm Elevate, I want to be focusing on just getting that control and really shutting down Jordan.
Yeah, he's definitely been having a good game so far. Conversely, surprisingly, you know, really need to look at shutting down Sapper here on Elevate. I mean, the two most prolific fraggers on Elevate side that we're used to getting the big numbers being Onigiri and Napier. I'm going to hesitate to say they're struggling. I feel like Onigiri is actually struggling a little bit, but they're not in the game as much as the others. Sapper in particular, he's been having some really impactful kills. So, yeah, that is scary when you start to see some of those other players pop off that you don't really expect to be popping off on the scoreboard. But yeah, either way, kills is just one aspect, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, looking at Jordan now, I mean, he's done a lot of work with his C4s and his shotgun and his SMG. Doesn't really matter what he's got in his hands, he'll do something with it. RDCH? What was that?
Fell off the roof, I reckon.
How do you fall off the roof on Cafe? Can you, like, did he, like, jump onto a ledge somehow?
I was going to say, I think there is a ledge vault. Not sure if that was it or not. Didn't quite see.
I don't know why he would jump on the ledge. I mean, it'd been a comic relief for you in the middle of this fairly tense game, but hey, you know, even the best of us do it every now and then. I just want to know what they're going to do to Jordan other than just kind of, like, once again go into the meat grinder. Spamming the util. They've tried this before. It didn't work in the past. It does this time. Though Hysterics does take down Sapper.
Yeah, at least there was a trade there, but not an easy position for Jordan. And honestly, he was really close to being able to even trade himself. I'm not sure, but it looked very close to the player on red that peaked. Either way, 4 versus 4. Just over a minute to go. Still some really good positions held here by IG. Hysterics below in particular, you just know that is never going to be a safe thing for the attackers. Hysterics can certainly make that impact on the flank, or he'll surprise you in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, the player who's really been the highlight of the game so far, in my opinion, Sapper, and he's taken down. Perhaps that's cause for concern for Elevate, but apparently not when Napier can just go Fragmite on us and shuts down that X-Factor you mentioned from Invictus. Still a strong setup here for the defense. Like, you've got a mirror window, but wait a second. BG Man's all the way up in heaven. How on earth did he get here? He just repelled in because this castle barricade. They've given him free reign.
That is pretty dangerous. And of course, there is just that little run across that is always prepared by the defense there. And his sledge anyway, he can just bust down this castle barricade, which he does, clears the mirror spot. And now this is really hectic. And look at that, he's going to punish them.
There's just no way this works for Invictus. Not when BG Man's in such a strong position Speakeasy's last one left. 1v4, 1v3, 1v2, 1v1. Speakeasy. It's all on Napier. And Speakeasy gets the 1 versus 4 clutch.
I can't close my mouth to make words, Dev. Oh my gosh, Speakeasy is just an enigma, man. Oh my lord, that was just incredible. That just looked like his mind went on rails and he's like, this is what I have to do. And that was just incredible. Oh, I cannot believe that. 1v4 in about 12 seconds? I didn't see how much time was left, but I'm pretty sure the timer is in the red. Like, that's crazy.
That is just unreal. Like, you think a lot of the time, in order to win a 1 versus 4 clutch, you have to do something crazy. You know, you have to deny the plant. You have to be the one pushing. He didn't. He kind of just, like, he was hiding in washrooms, prone, and just found the first one on an off angle, and then there was that moment of panic. Like when there's a fire in the stables, and suddenly the shrieks just drown everything else out. All reason goes out the window, and Elevate are scrambling. They couldn't contain themselves. By the end of it, Napier had no choice to go for that 1v1. He wasn't favored, but every single moment before that, surely there was something else Elevate could have done. But when you're in a position like that, there's just no way you can think straight. And I think this is where we're starting to see kind of that mental fortitude showing, or lack thereof here. Unfortunately, like, that was a bit of a frazzled moment.
Yeah, it was. What really sucks for, you know, somebody like Elevate, or just when you're in that last attack round, it really sucks when you lose it like that for obvious reasons, but also there's no repeat attempt now. Like, that is the half in the book. Time to move on to the attack or defense. And that's just annoying. It really is.
Yeah,
like, you
so
want to have a go at that again, because that attack was theirs. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. That was well and truly Elevate's round. Speakeasy just is an absolute machine. But yeah, they will be kicking themselves for losing that. 3-3 half. Look, it isn't the 4-2 that we felt like Invictus needed. But I think especially off the back of that last round, they've got to be feeling a bit of hype going into this attack.
Surely energy there for Invictus, but for Elevate, right? Like you were saying, I think that the worst thing about making a mistake, the most frustrating part of making a mistake, is not being able to fix it. Now,
100%.
Elevate can at least right their wrongs here on their defensive side. We're seeing a bit of spice coming out on both sides. Most notable being the Adrenal Surge we're seeing running, pulsing through Invictus's veins right now, with Luna picking the Finker, something that we would typically see from Thai teams like Elevate, not so much from Invictus. Also have Sapper running the shotgun on Pulse, something that he's quite known for. Haven't seen him do in a little while though.
Pretty good map control from IG, but has taken them half the round to get here. Really great intel gathering here from Sapper. He's got 3 positions to call out. This is going to help Elevate really adapt to where the push is coming from, but not quick enough and not enough at all to stop Speakeasy. That's for sure. Napier goes down.
Nice flash.
IG might be on a roll here. Onigiri finally does get a trade. Big kill on the Speakeasy. Now with a minute to go, it does look like that the vertical control has been given to IG.
Yeah, and alongside that pick, unfortunately, Sapper definitely not in a position where he should have won that. Uncooked nade perfectly baits that out. I mean, hysterics. That was just beautiful. That was absolutely perfect. DCH and Onigiri to hold on. I was going to say, look, if there's any player you want to take down from IG, it's Speakeasy, the guy on double digits, but they are certainly no slashes without him. Hysterics in particular has done some really good work this round, and now he's playing the Vert game.
Just under 30 seconds to go. Jordan is poised to push in and try and get this plant down in its default spot. Now with Vert being held, gonna be a tough retake here for Elevate. Not gonna play for denial, or they... Oh! Doesn't quite get it.
My God! That was a bit all over the place, Raven. I desperately tried to spam through that cabinet. But nope, Invictus do lock it in, as they should have after that significant advantage they established. Really, really good start to that round for them, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. They just did such a great job crashing across from Piano. Now, it did take them a little while, about 90 seconds to get Piano Cigar kind of control, but once they did, yeah, they absolutely steamrolled anybody that was in their way over in Cocktail. Also found those vertical picks. Pretty clinical in the end from IG, and that is a great statement from their first attack. Take that round. They've taken the lead. This is looking good.
Yeah, pretty big moment now for Invictus. Like, we've seen flashes of greatness this game, but this is the first time we've actually seen them properly leading. And on their attack, they're proving me wrong, I guess, that this is perhaps not as defensive side as we would expect. And maybe 3 is enough. Maybe that's all they needed to get in the first half for them to take this away. Elevate, just not quite the Elevate that we have seen from them in the past. Little note, I love that Evil Eye from Napier, top right-hand corner of your screen. He actually used the bar to jump onto that soft banister, like the little barrier, so that he could put it up on the elevated surface. Pun intended. I guess in that kind of makes it harder to knife. Maybe it gets better visibility over the bars as well. I don't know, just... I've personally never seen that vault before, so that was pretty cool.
I think it might be for the default that you see near the trash bags. Yeah, perfectly just highlighted there by the observer, because it's not going to see the other default, which is right near the new hatch pillar kind of area. It won't see that, I don't believe, but it will see the trash bags, which, you know, is a pretty common plant, or at least it used to be. I actually don't think I've seen it a lot lately. In fact, I don't think we've seen a whole lot of cafe lately.
People don't plant lately as well.
Well, that too. Yeah, it's equally least played in APAC South, so we haven't had a lot of cafe to really go off lately. But yeah, that trash bag plant is definitely a hard one to deny if you have lost backstore control. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And shout out to Mandy. It is Mandy on this main stream today doing our observing. She does
Mandy,
a great
go.
job. Yeah, Mandy, go. We've got Marshall, who's doing the other streams as well, the off-stream games. So shout out to those legends and all the others at ESL Oz who are doing a fantastic job bringing you guys this production.
Onigiri is in a battle for his life right here in Piano. He's in a pretty precarious position in that corner, honestly. Can't really get back to 90 or even a cigar double if they can stay watching us on Repel. Is that player upside down near Piano? Luna is a millimeter away from finding a kill here. Doesn't get it. Actually, he does in the end. Onigiri is not really having a great game here on Cafe. Really well shut out from Invictus. It's going to give them some control, but not much time left on the clock.
I can't help but hear Onigiri's own words in my ears that he was nervous going into this game, that he was scared of Invictus. They said Invictus would be the biggest challenge for them. And we're seeing that right here.
Yeah.
See what Hysterics can do moving on through. Got a nice angle. Napier wants to do a bit of damage. Oh my god. I have no idea whether Napier realizes how low Hysterics is right now. But he's going to be playing very cautiously and waiting for his teammates to take down that Evil Eye before moving forward.
Looks like that's exactly what just happened, so going to make it a little more comfortable. Now, DCH is still sitting in the vert position. He could have a massive impact with his C4 for denial. He has kept in his pocket patiently until this point. Under 30 seconds to go, IG are just finalizing their little setup for an execute here, but it is time to get a move on. Less than 20 seconds, here it goes.
Now, Logic Bomb does detonate. There's still info on site though, however. DCH may well be able to perform a saving grace for Elevate. That could be perfect timing, but no! Too late! That said, it might not matter with Joe the only man left standing. He doesn't last long at all. Elevate once again tie up the standings. Raven, there is absolutely no doubt about it. Invictus and Elevate are here to play, and this is a very tight match.
Yeah, a bit hard to separate at the moment. Also a bit of an anticlimax on the DCH play from below. Unfortunate, but at the end of the day, Elevate still just rolled over the top of Invictus's attempted execute. Gonna have to go down to kitchen cooking now. Have not yet seen this from Elevate in the half. So curious how this is gonna go, but Yeah, we have just been trading round by round. I mean, Invictus have had stretches of 2 rounds back to back, but Elevate have always been there to tie it back up. And yeah, this feels like a very tense match right now, Dev. It feels like we're tracking towards an 8-7. And to put it back into context, remember, this is to have an opportunity to face Damwon Kia for a shot at the Mexico Major. This is a pretty big deal.
That's it. And to reflect on what we've been talking about this whole time, right, is that Invictus Elevate game from Playday 7. You said it, right? Both of these teams needed to win that game. Invictus needed to win it to qualify for playoffs, which would mean just a shot at the Mexico Major. If Elevate had won it, which they didn't, they would already be qualified for Mexico. They would have just trumped Knights and got that direct invite. But no, because of that failure, Elevate is here, and they have to once again face their demons in Invictus, potentially even Damwon Kia later on today. Now, we know one thing for certain, Raven, and that is one of Elevate, Invictus, and Damwon Kia will be going to the Major. Which one? I don't know, man. It could well be 2 out of those 3 teams, but it certainly can't be all 3.
Yeah, definitely right. I tell you what, though, my head and my heart are both saying Damwon Kia just because they have just looked so good. It feels like it's just their stage in general, but we will wait and see. That match does await us. Of course, we have to get through this one before we get there. And yeah, we can't separate these teams, so we're going to have to just be patient, wait and see who can break ahead. Nothing particularly eventful in this opening 40 seconds, just a lot of Invictus Gaming separating or setting themselves up. They have started to hard stick this Dokkaebi pick though, which I really like. I actually love seeing Dokkaebi played. I know that we talked about how painful she can be previously when she was banned, but definitely just facilitates some really nice roam clear.
Not gonna lie, the other day I was playing some casual. Enemy team started playing Dokkaebi and like roam hunting me, and I got tilted, so I just played Dokkaebi and did it right back to them. Made them get tilted. It was great.
It's the play.
Yep. Let's see what Napew can do here. Dancing a tango with Hysterics. Is that both logic bombs already used? No, just the first one. Hysterics actually does cut off BG man downstairs though. It looks like Elevate trying to support their roamers hasn't quite worked out for them so far.
Hasn't, and they seem pretty aware still, of course, that Napew is in train, so they have really good positioning right here to try and deal with this. The nade comes out and Luna shuts him down anyway. Invictus Gaming, beautiful pinch, and with over a minute, they've given themselves this 2-man advantage. And now they can just go to work on this vertical play. This is looking like a really nice attack.
That's it, perfect roam clear for Invictus, but Hysterics has gone down. Could be the first of the pins to fall. Elevate might not have numbers, but they're happy to wait this out. That's the thing. It's funny, really. Like, Elevate are known to be that aggressive team, but they're happy to let the fight come to them.
They're going to have to be on a Geary still prowling too over in the VIP dining area. This is going to have to be thorough from Invictus Gaming. Of course, they don't have direct access through the hatch, so they're going to have to go down the hatch, and they have Jordan's drops. Plant is going to have to happen here, Dev. 25 seconds now.
Little Nook for DCH. Could save his life. This position could be so damaging, but he is droned out. Now he makes an aggressive play. Right in front of the third. Out come the stuns. Out comes the util. But 2 can play at that game. There goes the C4, but Speakeasy. Who else is going to do it if not this man? He finds the double, but on a Geary! How does he deny the plants? Elevates. They win the round out of nowhere.
That has just been absolutely snatched by Onigiri. I'm not sure what happened. Speakeasy was looking at that angle. I swear he was looking at the double from Freezer as Onigiri vaulted. I don't know. Didn't quite see. Maybe he was stuck in a reload animation. I'm honestly not sure. I'm also quite shocked, but at the end of the day, that's how it happens sometimes. And we saw the 1v2 from Joe. You know, Invictus Gaming have certainly stolen their fair share of rounds as well. But it gets scary at this end. That's Elevate inching closer and closer to match point. 1 round away from it, in fact. If they are able to take that here, that would be devastating for Invictus.
Just like we saw the 1v4 clutch from Speakeasy and the 1v2 clutch from Joe, Those moments are moments when Elevate will be kicking themselves. And that's exactly what we just had from Invictus. Invictus had everything lined up. Speakeasy got the 2 difficult kills, and he couldn't get the 1 easy kill that would have meant the round. What a critical mistake that may have a ripple effect here. Elevate just barely dragged that across the line. And, I mean, massive credit to Onigiri. He's had a rough game, been opening death time and time again. But with a play like that, surely his confidence has suddenly been put back into his head, and he's just ready to play because, I mean, that kind of thing, it never happens.
Yeah, and it's also the kind of play that can be really dangerous for motivation if you're on the Invictus side, at least. You know, Onigiri would have probably been pretty up and about and happy with himself to have pulled that round out, and they're on a team house together, you know, like they can celebrate super quick between that round and really vibe off each other, and that can just turn the tides. Like, we could see Elevate just continue to close the match out from here on, just based on the momentum in that last round. Like, that can seriously happen. So, yeah, that could be a round that Invictus Gaming go back and absolutely kick themselves over.
Yeah. Well. Oh no. Spawn peek. Well, not spawn peek, but just an aggressive window peek. It's a nice early one for Napew, and I mean, we've already said that if I was Invictus, Mental would probably be down the shitter, but, you know, we'll see if that's the case. I think that's probably just furthered after that additional aggressive peek. I mean, there's just surely not a lot for them to really work with now. 4v5.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Trying to attack, a lot of map control to take.
Yep, Sapper again, he's been doing work with the pulse, but he's caught off guard there by Hysterics. Not really thinking about the angle that Hysterics was walking to with the hatch, of course, maybe not to know that it was the sledge. Either way, important trade there. Sapper's been having a great game. BG Man, though, that is really big. We're seeing so many trades here, Dev, already, just after the halfway mark, 3 versus 3. But BG Man retains some pressure up in bar here.
Wonder what Luna can do, because he's just been holding this Pillar's position for so long. No one's been feeding him those fights, and Onigiri dueling around those corners, does take down 1 kill, finally punished back 2v2. And Speakeasy's still alive, but BG Man's upstairs, as is DCH. It's going to be very difficult for Invictus to force down a plant, but they might be able to make something work through Fireplace.
I think they're going to have to. Just the vertical is just too strong here from Elevate. Now that could have been huge if that nade hit. It didn't. DCH has just been making some quick last-minute renovations to ensure they can cover dining, and BG Man is perfectly positioned now to deny this. Certainly going to be a tough execute here, Dev. 20 seconds, Invictus, they're going to make a decision.
Look at the way they go deep. But they can't decide where they're going to play. Invictus do start to force this plant down. Luna has to cover. Surely, ideally, it would be the other way around, and here comes BG Man. That diffuser gets planted. BG Man would surely have heard that. A pre-fire, though, might reveal his position. DCH now above. Another pre-fire, but still doesn't get it. Speakeasy comes from around the corner. A 3k on for the round. DCH has to 1v2 now with the slug shotgun, but he can take down Luna. 1 versus 1. Speakeasy has the winning angle here, but he can't land the shots. No time for DCH to rotate. He's got to make it count. Speakeasy, once again, he steps up for Invictus. Cafe is his territory. And once again, the round count is even 5 apiece.
It is. Far out. Invictus pulling that one back. Really felt like Elevate just had everything going for them to push towards match point. But this game, man, it doesn't feel like anyone's ever going to get that degree of separation. Again, it feels like we're tracking towards OT. But right now, it is danger zone. 5-5. Next round winner will be on match point, and that is where it gets a bit scary. So, Bar Cocktail is the site that Elevate are going to give that a crack on.
Yeah, well, with these attacks starting to I know. I kind of want to say these attacks are starting to have a little bit more punch to them, but at the same time, like it just feels like there's a knife's edge, and delicately balancing what Invictus are trying to do on that knife's edge. As often as it does stay on and keep balanced, it also will fall. And we're seeing that. Like, sometimes Elevate slips through the cracks, and sometimes Invictus pull it off. Here we are at breakpoint. One of these teams about to take match point on the back of this round. I couldn't tell you which way it's going to go.
No, I don't think I could either. So we're just going to have to strap in and ride this one out because, yeah, this is going to have an epic conclusion, I feel. And look, Guz has kind of reminded me here. There's been a few mistakes, but to bring it back, there's a lot of pressure in this game. And I guess that's what you can expect when pressure really starts to add up, is some teams will make some pretty big fundamental errors or just some bad calls because, look, at the end of the day, these guys aren't robots. They are human. Sometimes that pressure will get to you, no matter how confident you might think you are. It happens. So, regardless, it is giving us this banger of a game, 5-5. Let's see who can break forward to match point first. IG have been hunting towards it.
I'm pretty sure we haven't had an overtime match yet in the APAC playoffs. I feel like we are quickly barreling towards breaking that streak. Onigiri is going to try and hold Pixel. Haven't seen this kind of a hold for quite some time. This tends to fall out of meta, I guess, but do have that shield. It's on Invictus to clear.
Onigiri again. He got absolutely destroyed when he tried to play from the couches last time around. He's trying it yet again. Not quite as deep in the corner, but still think this is going to end in his doom if this just gets droned out. Either way, IG just trying to not overextend. Almost half the round gone. Haven't really been able to get off the roof. Just really being careful about the way they progress. And DCH below.
Nomad's banned. He knows he has this opportunity, but he has incorrect info. There was no one repelling south, so we can't actually get a run out there. I think at this point, there's actually no one repelling anymore. Invictus has started to move into that next phase, really starting to put pressure onto Piano, take that map control. Joe is in. Jordan is in. A minute left, though, Raven, and for this 5v5, it does feel like there's far too many players alive in the server and far too little map control for Invictus.
Oh, and this is going to be huge from DCH. That's going to be Joe losing to the C4. And like that, Jordan also downed. It feels like Elevate have taken the lead right now in the round. And of course, 40 seconds to go. Invictus Gaming are going to be able to revive Jordan. So it still is the 4v5. Got to have to try and make something happen here.
That smoke is doing a hell of a lot of damage to Speakeasy. No time left on the clock. Surely we need the Candelas to come through. Here they come from Luna. The ADS to catch the first one. Second one goes out. The smokes as well to cover another Candela to go through. And BG Man can open up an engagement, but Speakeasy is forcing this diffuser down. Not gonna happen. BG Man once again. It's flawless for Elevate as they barrel towards match points.
That was a big, dig deep effort there from Elevate. I actually really felt like IG were about to get that post plant down. They had Luna on the roof. It would have been really, really tough, but great job from them. They got that plant denial, and in the end, they closed that one out flawlessly at that. They're the ones on match point now, Dev. This is it. They are one step closer from seeking another opportunity to get to the Mexico Major.
One step closer. This is a best of one, but it will qualify you for that big match, that game against Damwon Kia. Still waiting for you in that upper bracket final. Winner of that game will go to the major.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
And of course, the loser of this game will still get to fight through that lower bracket. But I mean, there's a lot of teams waiting in that lower bracket, aren't there? And it's only going to get more and more competitive. You're only going to get more and more fatigue as this tournament continues on. We got 2 more nights of this, by the way. Like, this is not just a one and done, you know, chill out for a couple hours here. Like, we've already had so many matches here in the APAC playoffs, and we're barely getting started.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it does start to get pretty hectic towards the ends. Of course, we have a few BO1s at the start, but they all turn into BO3s, which, as we all know and love, they get very exciting. See those maps trading back and forth. And speaking of the lower bracket and the BO3s, we have had Fnatic and Mercenaries start theirs on Coastline, and at the moment, the score, I can tell you, is 2-0 in favor of Fnatic. Of course, not very deep in, but it is happening.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, I would hope to see something from one of the South Asia teams, but I have no doubt Fnatic have a lot more to show us this tournament than what they have so far. Now for Elevate, I like that aggressive C4 placed on the hatch. Now remember, this is a kitchen defense, mate. This is all the way down. Kitchen defense. Napew's going to back off the back of that aggressive C4. Just love you and leave you.
Yeah, that's it. Alright, first minute in. Still haven't had the opening engagement. Feels very tense right now. This is going to be a very telling sign of how the round goes. And in fact, Elevate have all kind of defaulted down. I don't think we've seen them play this passive for the entire match. Not going to contest any aspect of this roam. Just going to play from sight, contest vertically. Looks like there's one extension down in the VIP dining. So, yeah, I think this is just going to come down to IG's pacing and how much pressure they can get from the verticals. If they manage to find 1 or 2 picks, going to be set up for a pretty solid end of round.
That said, there are some dangerous elements could potentially throw a spanner in the works when it comes to execute. One of them, we got BG Man with the M870 shotgun instead of that 416 carbine that you'd usually see on the Jaeger. Pretty uncommon. Curious whether he'll have an impact with that late round. But for now, really the pivotal thing for Invictus is just getting this vert play working, and it's mostly on Hysterics to get that job done.
It is. And this is going to be really telling again. Whoever comes out on top of these vertical engagements could really dictate the round. Now we're getting very close to the business end of not only the round, but of course the map. It is elevator match point at 6-5 here. This is going to be crucial to see who gets this opening pick. Sapper is just absolutely surrounded, but he has backup from Onigiri.
And I believe, did they just get both the kills? I can't quite tell, judging by that. Like, which players died there? I don't know. Hysterics is no, okay, we do still have Jordan alive outside, even though the player who walked into Bakery did fall, and now Hysterics desperately walking down. This is match point for Elevate, and they look like they might take it right here. Invictus to desperately push on through, but Napew's ready and waiting. Trade it back again. A one-on-one, and the timer runs out. Invictus cannot push overtime. Elevate get their revenge, and they make it to that upper bracket final.
Huge, yes, they have Demon Kia awaiting them for a shot at the Mexico Major. That is going to be an absolutely monster matchup. Super excited for that. But look, Elevate, really good job. IG threw everything at them. They started really strong. That 3-3 half was looking pretty decent from Invictus Gaming International.